You look so good.
Why? Maybe it's the tan.
It's the tan?
Yeah.
It's the lighting. It's the hair.
Tan. It's the tan.
It's the tan.
And your haircut.
So, today we have an update on a Dear Sadie MP that we did a little while ago. You've probably seen it. It was called I'm a gynecologist and my old high school crush is my new client. Something like that. I'll put it in the description if you haven't seen that one. So she sent us an update.
I don't know what the update is because she said, I'm not going to read it to you. I want to see your reaction. Okay, let's see.
When I read it, I was like, oh my gosh. So just as a little recap, basically when we read her letter and she had a crush on her client and she's the gynecologist, right?
Yes.
And our advice was kind of mixed. You were saying, don't make a move, it's super inappropriate because you're her gynecologist.
Yeah.
And I was saying, ask her out.
Okay.
So this is what happened. Well, I couldn't help myself and asked her out. This, of course, happened about a month after she visited my clinic for the medical procedure she underwent. Easter holidays was a great pretext to call her and wish her for her name day. What does that mean?
For her, what? Name day? Oh, the anniversary, it's an onomastic? The name day?
Is it Christian?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I suggested we go out for coffee. Needless to say that I wasn't listening to anything she was talking about because I was staring at her, mesmerized by her face, her features, her beauty, her aura. I was just responding, yeah, sure, of course, Let me remind you, she is 62 years old, I am 37. Anyway, I drove her home and soon a second date was scheduled, which ended with me kissing her at the doorstep.
Ooh.
She kissed me back, but I felt she was scared.
Whoa.
I called her the next day and she told me that what happened, the kiss, was wrong because I'm way younger than her, plus I was her student, as if I didn't already know. A week later, I called her again and we ended up in a long conversation. Finally, we met again and we talked. She told me all about her reasonable insecurities, her fears, her trust issues, etc. Long story short, we're a couple for 6 months now.
Oh my gosh.
And our relationship is really fulfilling and beautiful.
Wait a second. Did we make this video 6 months ago?
It was a while ago.
Like 7 months ago? Wow.
I don't know. I don't know if it was 6 months ago. I don't remember. Once her siblings learned that she is with a 25 years younger spouse, they almost called her and still treat her like she's a pervert. Plus, they tried to convince her that it's a matter of time for me to cheat on her. I don't give a fuck what they say, but all this bullshit triggers my partner's issues and it makes me sad seeing her being under tremendous pressure. Every time she visits her siblings, she comes home irritated and 9 out of 10 times we start fighting for no reason. One thing I know for sure is that I won't give up for no reason. Nope. So that's my update. Thank you for reading. That's a beautiful ending to that story. I was not expecting this to happen.
Wow.
Pretty sure you weren't.
I wasn't. Of course, we give advice based on what we read. Maybe there are some nuances and some things that we don't know.
But
right?
she listened to my advice and it happened.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, at the end she listened because we can give advice, but then you guys have to follow your guts. Your gut feelings because it's the best guidance. First of all, thank you so much for sending us this update because we love...
It's epic.
We love to hear from you guys and see how it goes. Well, it saddens me that she has to go through so much pain now and she cannot live this experience in a very nice, loving, light way as she's supposed to. One thing that I noticed is that whatever, it doesn't matter whether it's this case or something else that triggers us. But the reason why things trigger us is because there is a belief within us on a subconscious level. Maybe we say on a conscious level, I don't care. But if that thing that we think we don't care about comes up because somebody else is, judging it or whatever, it means that it's in our subconscious. So it doesn't matter what people really think, but what matters is why are you triggered, and the reason why she's triggered is because she also thinks about it. In fact,
Yeah.
You know, if she think, and I understand that, because I also deep down in some corner, you know, of my subconscious mind, I feel like, oh my God, she's so young. Okay, so because it's so ingrained in our culture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but at one point, you know, you just cannot care. You cannot care. Otherwise, it really affects your life. It affects the relationship.
But you're the queen of not caring. Can you give some tips? Really?
I
from the beginning, you really couldn't give a shit. I mean, you were having moments, but then you were like, fuck it. Let's just
Yeah, it's true.
Because your family also didn't react very good the first time you told them.
Yeah, my sister didn't talk to me for a while, and I didn't care. Yeah, there is something that helps me a lot, and it's always, whatever people think, it's always about themselves and not about you. And if they trigger you, it's not about them triggering you, it's about you. So you're triggered, then it means that in your subconscious, that truth, there is some truth to that trigger.
Let's talk about how we work on that, because that's a good topic. Like, do you want to give some examples of how something might trigger you and you work it out, kind of?
First and foremost, just always talk about it, you know, and not, you know, putting it under the carpet, thinking that, I don't want to, you know, talk about it with your friends that are very light as well, and that they always put love in their suggestion, their advice, because that helps a lot. Just discard all the friends that give advice out of fear. Like, oh my God, she's gonna betray you because you're old. She's gonna betray you. She's gonna find somebody else. I also have this fear, you know. I'm old. I mean, you one day you're gonna be, you know, attracted by somebody else. But you know what? There is betrayal even in non-age gap relationships. So what?
Yeah.
It's really like, if you fill up your energy, your aura with fears and the insecurity and all the bad things and the negative things, you know, you're gonna make yourself ugly, basically. So if you wanna, you know, put it on that way,
it's a blunt way of saying it.
Yeah, you make yourself ugly, like ugly inside and ugly outside. So just don't care.
Good
Just
advice.
don't care. I mean, whatever, you know, whatever happens, it can happen in any relationship. Just talk yourself out of it. Like, put some logic into it. I don't know what else to say.
Okay, you know, you used to say something that I feel like made a lot of sense. And you used to say, you can't separate what God puts together.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that's a good starting point. Like, just respecting the fact that your paths crossed again in this crazy turn of events.
Just have goosebumps.
Yeah, she happened to be your client after all those years, and then you met again. Like, that's a beautiful thing, and that's destiny. And you can't take apart what God puts together, because, you know, the glue there is the love, and as long as there's that, nothing can really happen. Then all that's left is we have to work on ourselves, like work through the insecurities we have, or the fears, like you said.
Exactly.
And
you have to match God's will, basically.
That's right.
If God's will was for you to be together, then you have to honor that.
Yeah.
Without doubting it. You have to have faith, you know, in the destiny, the path that put yourself together, which is crazy. It's really epic, like you said before.
Also, I want to say something about cheating or finding another partner. Here's the thing. It depends on how good the relationship is, like how good it fits, how right it fits, and how much, you know, substance there's in the relationship. Because as it builds over time, then it's going to be less and less likely that somebody else could just replace that, because there's so much there, you know, like there's so much depth to the relationship, and someone new can't just come in and boom, replace that just because they're shiny and attractive and young. Maybe, you know, it doesn't change that. All that emotion, all that sentiment is attached to this relationship, so it doesn't end so easily. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Even when you try to end it sometimes.
Yeah, and what makes the relationship very strong is not doubts, it's not fear. It's actually being positive and just let the love just go. Like they say, the opposite of fear is love. So if there is fear, there cannot be love. So that was great to hear.
Congratulations.
Yes, so you guys keep on writing us. I mean, it's fun.
We have one more Dear Sadie P if you want to squeeze it in with this video.
Sure.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Dear Sadie P, let me introduce myself first. I'm 35 years old woman. How do you say Arabic?
Arabic.
Arabic? I don't know how to say it. Oh, shit.
It's fine.
From Arabia.
From Arabia.
Arabic. How do I say that? Okay, I'm 35 years old woman. Hidden lesbian, and you can call me Arena. Not my real name for sure, so you can use it. I think Sadie will understand as our culture is somehow similar, growing up as a lesbian in an Arabic country. It's considered suicide. Definitely you'll be killed or at least receive a lot of abuse. I started to recognize my sexuality since I was in high school, but I kept telling myself I'm only a teenager and my emotions take me to any sweet person. Plus our schools were gender separated, so all the people around me were girls. So I put that as a reason too. And my main reason that I kept telling myself is that I have dad issues and my father left us behind. I noticed that I don't feel attracted to any males at all. All my attention always goes to women, and only women, so I got scared. And that made me start a war with myself against my sexuality. A war full of denial to the point that I got married to a man. All that I felt with him was like he was raping me. He was so respectful, but all I could feel was disgusted. And I couldn't do it from the first night, but continued in a hope that it's only because I've never been with a man. A couple of years later, I got divorced. After that, I died emotionally and lost hope in everything. I went into depression, and unfortunately, we don't have a therapist in my country. And even if we had, I wouldn't put myself at this kind of risk. I was scared even to come out to a therapist. I gained weight to make men avoid me and live in peace away from everyone. Because after getting divorced, the proposal started and I lost all my excuses to say no. So the best way to solve this was to look less attractive, and that worked actually. So since then, I'm depressed, fat, lonely woman, and all I do is work. Maybe work was the only positive thing in my life, as I'm now in a really high position and my salary is really good. I'm telling you guys to ask you to pray for my soul and smile to the fact that you have the right to be yourself, and it is just a fantasy to some others.
Sometimes I forget that in these countries, people like us cannot express themselves, cannot be themselves, and it's so painful.
Yeah.
To listen to this kind of letters.
I understand where she's coming from completely, because this is what I felt when I was growing up. And maybe things have gotten better. I don't know. I don't really think so. At least not the entirety of Turkey. There's still so much hate towards, gay people. Mm-hmm. And it's just horrible. It's horrible. It's the way they treat women actually as well.
Yeah.
In these countries, women are treated like second-class citizens. They're treated like dogs.
Yeah.
And it's just awful. Yeah, it's very sad.
We will pray for you, and the first thing that comes up to mind is there any chance that you can leave the country,
escape,
start your life somewhere where you can be yourself. But I understand that not everybody can do that. Maybe they are, they have family, they don't want to leave them behind.
And she has a good job and everything.
Yeah, so...
The only thing that comes to mind for me is maybe there's online communities that are for, lesbians in your country where you can actually meet people, because I'm sure you're not the only one.
Yeah.
There's always others like you around, and, they're just under the radar, so you have to find, the right website, the right, the right group of people, and then it should be better. Yeah. I just makes me feel grateful that I'm not in Turkey anymore.
Yeah. I bet. But we'll keep you in our minds, in our hearts, and we'll pray for you together with our community.
You see, this is why I don't want to go back to Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Even for a visit, it doesn't feel attractive to me. Even though there's good stuff about Turkey, food, beautiful places, the underlying culture is still very male dominant and still very homophobic. So I feel always really tense when I'm in Turkey, in
Yeah.
public, or like
Every time we think of going there, like you remember we were discussing with your mom,
yeah.
I said, what if somebody asks us something, you know? And I said,
Or what if
"Oh,
somebody recognizes us and they just like start throwing rocks at us, which happens.
yeah, or you know, we have to say, oh, I'm her aunt or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, I don't want to go to a country where I have to lie like that, you know? Because I'm afraid that, you know, they're gonna...
Yeah, I would have to lie about everything, really. So this is a good opportunity to really be grateful for where we were at, you know.
Yeah.
We might have like first world problems, but we don't have real problems. Like
Yeah.
this is really a good reminder for everybody.
Yes.
And thank God we've progressed so much.
Yeah.
And there's so much more acceptance now all around. I mean, just in your youth, there was so much more homophobia to the point where you actually had to marry a man.
I didn't have to marry a man. It was just my path at one point. But I felt shamed. I felt strong shame, and that's why I didn't come out, which is the story of many things. But there was, a lot of...
I mean, if you were born in a very gay accepting community, would you have married a man?
No,
Probably not.
absolutely not. No way. No way.
Yeah. I really hope the world changes for the better, but right now it's still really fucked up.
Yeah.
Fuck. Anyway, so that's it for today's video. Thank you for the update and the letter. If anybody wants to write to us, I'll put the email right here, and it's always in the description, so you can feel free to write to us. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.